Hi, and welcome to this webinar. And in this webinar, I'm going to actually talk about the recording of the hotness of Nando sauces, both their extra hot and their medium hot. So in front of me, I have a Food Sense Generation 4. You'll see me use this Food Sense Generation 4 really quickly. But what I'm also going to do is show you a couple of videos that were recorded live today at Nando's, where we were eating the food and testing the hotness of their sauces at the same time as well. So that with that said, let me go forward quite quickly because I want to get to the kind of, I don't want to say the meat of it, but that's what I want to get to. So we did have some extra hot sauce on the table. And as I say, we were using the Food Sense Generation 4 to actually, we prepared the sample, we made some measurements, and we actually got the result of that. Now, we did this very fast. The relative values are correct. So for example, the extra hot came out at 7,100 Scoville heat units, and I can see the raw data in the cloud as well. I'm going to discuss that, but hang on for the rest to the end of this because I want to discuss, the kind of the data as well. And we also tested their medium hot sauce as well. Now I didn't take a picture of the bottle at the time, though you'll see it in the video. So when I came home, I also took a picture of this medium just to kind of indicate that. But I know people at Nando's will say, oh, well, that's the one you buy at the supermarket and that's the one that we have in store. But I didn't take a picture of the one in the actual restaurant. With that said, we did test the hotness of that, and that came back at 5,720. You will see me make some critiques about what we did during this live recording, but let me play those videos and let me also show you, I'll do in parallel with that another test as well. So let me sort of essentially dive into this a bit. So I've got a few... What we actually ended up doing, so I will show you the real videos in a minute, but what we ended up doing is we've got the Food Sense Generation 4. We've got these chili sensors. I've got a few chili sensors here now, and we put the chili sensors essentially into the meter. We prepared a sample of the Nando's hot sauces. In the end, you'll see in the video that we actually did what's called a 1 in 100 dilution for the extra hot Nando's sauce. And you will see that we did a 1 in 10 dilution for the medium. Now that is because of the limited solubility of capsaicin. We do whole sorts of long videos about this kind of science. But with that said, you will see when I do my demonstration that we have a meter, sometimes colloquially called the Scoville meter. We have an app. The app drives the meter. The meter does the analysis. The sample does go into the sensor. The result goes back to the app. We actually send the data to the cloud where we process it. You'll see this in the video. And we essentially send the raw signal up to the cloud. We process the raw signal in the cloud. And we actually send a result back to the phone. So in real time, in the two videos that I'm going to show you now, and I'll do a live demonstration when I'm talking as well, we end up sending the Scoville heat units actually back to the phone. So there's a nice easy kind of explanation of, or rather a nice easy display of the actual results. With that said, I've got a couple of videos here. They were both recorded live today, and in one of them we prepared and tested a hot sauce. So I'll start that video playing now. Now I'm not playing the sound because you appreciate that this is a restaurant with 30 to 40 at least people in there. The music's playing in the background. The nice servers are also sort of chatting on occasion. So, but this is us kind of preparing the sample, and I'll play another video in parallel with this, which is testing the medium sauce. So we did this both in the same way. Now I'll probably also, in front of me now, I've actually got a system as well. So the first thing that we did was we actually prepared a 1 in 10 dilution for both samples. So we had some little sauce in a beaker because I poured it out into a beaker, and we also had some what we call chili pot buffer. So we did what's called a 1 in 10 dilution. So in both videos, you'll see the guys taking a sample of either the hot or the medium, and then they start taking 9 volumes of buffer. So they take sort of what we call 1 volume of the hot sauce or the medium sauce, and then they dilute it with 9 volumes of the buffer. So essentially they do a 1 in 10 dilution. Now while that's going on there, I'll let those videos play a little bit. Now I've also got a sample here. So I've prepared what's called a 1 in 10 dilution of a chili sauce. You'll see them at the moment, they're still going through their motions of actually preparing the sample. But I'm just going to take 50 microliters of this particular sample. I'll put it onto the sensor, which I'm doing now. I'm just going to give it a quick name actually, so I can actually find this later on. You can see the guys shaking it actually at this moment, and that's something that we didn't do. Something we didn't do in the restaurant. Is I have a vortexer in front of me. A vortexer is a really good device for, even if you're, they already don't cost that much money, but you get a vortexer like this. I shake it like this, and that really helps to homogenize the sample and actually make sure that we do all of the extraction. I'm just going to put some words onto here so I can find the data later on. So let me just do that real quick. Right, and I can see here that they're actually putting the sample onto the sensor on the extra hot there. So I've put a sample on here. I'll just hit continue. When they're choosing the app, they actually choose what's called a 1 in 10 dilution. But you'll see on the extra hot that they actually go on to do something a little bit different as well. But anyway, let me just do that. Start measurement, and the sample is now essentially running. Now we're showing, that actually there is some data kind of going on in this. Now the reason that we're doing that is because I've just got the result back. The reason we're doing that is just to give you some certainty. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold that up now. So I've actually just recorded a Tabasco sauce sample. The result here is 4,000. Let me just hold it like that. I think it says about 4,510. I can't quite read it. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, 4,510. All right. So I'll bring that up in a minute. Now, on this particular video, when they first did the results, so the result kind of came through, and they actually got a result that said it's too concentrated essentially. So what it says, it says upload complete, too high, dilute more. So it says upload complete, too high, dilute more. So that means that with the hot one, because it's got more capsaicin in it, the technology detected there's actually quite a lot of capsaicin in it. So we took the 1 in 10 dilution, we took 1 volume of that 1 in 10 dilution, and actually diluted it another 10 times. So 1 volume plus 9 volumes of buffer. So we ended up doing a 1 in 100 dilution. Now, we were doing this very quickly in the restaurant. So I'm happy with the relative values that, of course, the hot should be hot and the medium should be medium, let's say. But, we were doing this a little bit quick, and sort of, but a little bit more caution, changing pipette tips, etc. So I'm not going to criticize the results. We did get okay results. Now, so one of the videos is actually longer than the other video because essentially we then did a dilution and then did the further results. Now what I want to do is I just want to go really quickly to something called Julie. So let me just go up here now, and first of all I'm just going to go up here and just say, in order to kind of keep the video a bit more interesting, I ended up doing a sort of a test alongside the test that I was doing. I can look at the so I could just see that a new result just appeared up here, and this is the result that I just took a measurement on whilst I was talking. So I can come up here and I can see time and date, I can see the name of the file, I can see who did the work, I can see now this is a really distinctive signal for capsaicin, and I can see all that, and I can see the analysis, and I can see the result. I said something like 4,510. I can see the result up in the cloud here. So it's really good because I've got a way of tracking everything we did. But we did that work much earlier on today at the restaurant. So here's the medium source. So I can go back in here. I can see my medium source results. I can see my score of 5,718 Scoville heat units. I can see my raw signal. I can see my analysis. I can see the time at which we did this, 12:54 p.m. I can see the date at which we did it. Can you understand the amount of traceability I actually have, even though we did that some hours ago? I've got full traceability on that data. And then on the extra hot sauce, we did 2 tests because, in fact, the first one came back too high. So let me just jump into that. And And the reason being is the extra hot had a lot of capsaicin in it. So when we did the 1 in 10 dilution, I can see the signal is really, it's flatlining up here because actually there's so much capsaicin in it, it's too concentrated. And I can see here, I can sort of dive into some of the sort of deep whoops at late days. I'm just going to turn off some things so you can actually see it. I can really dive in and have it and see what actually we did at the time. I can see that it was a 1 in 10 dilution. So I got a really good visibility, almost as a quality manager, on what is actually going on here. And then we did a second run where we diluted the first run by another factor of 10, at which point then the data looks more reasonable. I can see all the peaks. And if I go in here, then I can sort of say, well, what dilution did we do at that point? And I can dive down and I can see it was actually a 1 in 100 dilution. So let me just turn some cameras back on. So we went to Nando's. If you think about it, we actually ended up doing 3 tests. We did a 1 in 10 dilution on the extra hot and came back with about 7,000 Scoville heat units. Oh, but actually, first of all, we did a 1 in 10. It was too hot. The app told us it was too hot and to dilute more. We did a further dilution on that sample down to 1 in 100. We got a result of about 7,100. The medium, we were able to just do a 1 in 10 dilution and got a score of just over 5,000 Scoville heat units. I can then come back here and actually, see my results. And even though I'm remote and displaced in time from all of that, I can see my results. There's also kind of another nice little feature here. If I was so interested, let's say I wanted to just compare the extra hot with the medium. I can see the word medium in here, so I know I'm doing that. I just wanted to do a comparison between these two. I've got all sorts of features available in this cloud, but I'm just creating a comparison report. I can see that, the extra hot was up at 7,100, and I can see that the medium is down at about 5,700, so I can see the difference between those two. So I might just change screens for a second. And so let me conclude. We went to Nando's, we tested their extra hot, we got a result. We also tested their medium, we got a result. I can just see us kind of probably preparing the second dilution on this one here. I can see there's critiques I could make now that we were shaking at the time. As I say, I've got a vortexer here, and a vortexer is a much better way of not doing this. But I just wanted to kind of show how really ease of use this device really is, and that you didn't have to be a super well trained operator in order to really get a result out of this kind of system. So I might just fast forward it. I can see him putting the sample on here. This is the 1 in 100 dilution. The app is is intuitive enough that somebody quite young can actually run this, and it runs just the way I ran mine at the moment. And then in a minute, it will actually come back. It sends the data to the cloud. We process the data, and then we send a result back to the phone. There we are, 7,100 Scoville heat units. So extra hot Peri at Nando's, 7,100 Scoville heat units. I think we can make a more accurate measurement if we took our time. We used the vortex, we changed the pipette tips a bit better. The guy using the pipettes was quite new to it, so I was sort of teaching him at the same time. But we then also tested the medium as well, and the medium came back at 5,720. Again, the relative values are correct. I think we could do a little bit better with training on the pipettes, but that's absolutely fine. And so I just want to say thank you. If you've got any questions of ZP regarding really I don't know how to put it, like a child's play system for really measuring the hotness of chili sauces. You can see it's rapid. You can see the great traceability you have. You actually saw me do my own demonstration here. Actually, I did on Tabasco sauce, and you can Google Tabasco and you can look up the hotness of this. They sell it between 2,500 5,000 Scoville heat units. And just as a trivia fact, I was just reading the Guinness Book of World Records today, and in there they said Tabasco is 400 Scoville heat units. So be careful when you read the Guinness Book of Records for 2025. There's a typo in there. They didn't mean to say Tabasco was 400 Scoville heat units. They actually meant to say it's about 4,000 Scoville heat units, but that's aside. But if you've got any questions regarding Food Sense Generation 4, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Okay, thanks very much.